Alright, welcome back. This is part 2 of our Fitbit application that we're developing. And what we're going to end up doing today is we're going to bring back the JSON file of the heart rate data. And this is what the page is going to look like. The resting heart rate, I don't have my Fitbit on, so that's going to be NA. The heart rate zones, we have different zones that we track, which is out of range, fat burn, cardio, and peak. And fat burn and cardio, I didn't really work out, so these are all the 0 minutes. So my out of range is going to be most of my minutes that I actually wore my Fitbit. And if I go down here and I look at the raw heart data, it gives me my activities for the April 24th. And if I go down here, it gives you the calories, the max, the minutes, and all that. And what we're going to end up doing is I'll show you how to create that in Python and FastAPI. So if that sounds good to you, let's get started. Alright, so here we are at our application. So if you notice before, we have this coming out from FastAPI templating, import Jinja2 templates. And I'm going to uncomment that. And that wasn't working earlier because we never really called it. And we never really told what directory our templates are going to be in. So to fix that, right here underneath the app, we're going to say templates equals. And then we're going to take the Jinja, if I can spell, Jinja 2 templates, right? And this right here matches this right here. So I'm just going to click on that and see that goes white. It's no longer grayed out. So now what we need to do is we need to clear the directory equals. And then I'm going to name my directory templates. So after we name the directory templates, we need to make that directory. So over here, what we're going to end up doing is to click on new folder, and we have templates, and we know we're going to eventually build a dashboard. So what I'm going to end up doing for templates is I'm going to create a file underneath that, and I'm going to call it dashboard.html for we can call it later. And we'll actually have to go in here and put some HTML code in here to get it to work, but for now we're just putting this as a placeholder. So now we'll go back to our main and everything is set up for our templates. So the next thing we're going to do is let's go down here to the bottom, and then we'll start coding on line 52 here. Alright, so now on line 52 what we're going to end up doing is we're going to create the dashboard path. So we're going to do app.get, and then from the app.get we got to call the dashboard path. So what this does, if I do the localhost / dashboard, it will bring back my dashboard that we're going to create. And then I'm going to do def dashboard. And then I'm going to do request because I'm going to make a request, and my argument is going to be request. And then we're going to go to the next line here after I put my colon in. And I'm going to do the access token because I'm going to need the access token to authenticate. And I'm going to get that from user_tokens. And then I'm going to get, and what am I going to get? Well, I'm going to get the access token, right? Like right there. So now I get the access token. And we did something similar like up here in the callback where we have the user tokens, access tokens equals tokens. So basically all I'm doing is I'm taking the user tokens and then I'm getting the access token filled from the JSON file. So I'm just doing that right here. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do, we need to check if that access token is in there or not. So we're going to do if not access token. We're going to return that by redirecting it to the root of our application. That way it does the authentication all over again. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is we know that we're going to need our headers. So we're going to do headers and then make a little dictionary. And I probably should put my equal sign here. And then down here, what I'm going to end up doing is in our dictionary, make an authorization. And then format. And we're going to get the bearer, B-E-A-R-E-R. And then we're going to get our access token. And make sure that we're authorized. For later on, I'm talking about this. This is just making the authorization header. We'll check this later on. So the next thing that we have down is let's do this. Let's do user ID equals user tokens, and then we're going to do user ID. We don't really need this. I'll show you why here in a little bit. I'm just showing you this as an example. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is, let me scroll up here, go down to line 64, and we're going to start getting the heart rate data. So let's just kind of say we're going to do the heart rate data like right here. Alright, so what we end up needing to do now is we'll just go down to the next line to 65. We need to know what we're calling for the request. So that's going to be the heart URL, and we're going to get that from the Swagger documentation. So let's go to the Swagger documentation, and these links will be in the description, so you can go down to there if you need them. Right up here, the base URL, which is the api.fitbit.com, which is important because that's what goes on the beginning before you actually call your get down here. So let's go down to the heart rate, and we'll just scroll down here, and these are the different heart rates. So one we're going to use is this one right here. So you'd have that api.fitbit.com/1, and again that was from above the base. User dash. If you don't know what this dash is, that's going to be your user ID, and I'll show you how to figure that out here in a second. Then you have the activities, heart rate, date. What's the date format? Like, I don't know what it is because dates are handled differently. So how do we figure that out? And the period, what is that period? Again, is that 1 day, 1 year, 3 years? Who knows, right? So to figure that out, we go up here to the full documentation, and it jumps us right to this section right here. So if I click on this, here's my heart rate time series, and I'm getting the heart rate time series by date. So I click on that, and it says, like right here, the user ID. So that dash is the user ID. So you remember in the program when I call the user ID, I can be explicit and call the user ID in here. Or if I go down here where it says user ID required, it says the encoded ID of the user, use dash for the current logged in user. So we can just use dash. So we don't have to be explicit. We can just use the dash. For the date required, we can use either today, or we can use the year, month, day format as it says up here. And period, we support like 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, 1 week, 1 month. So now we know what the period is, so we can actually put that in there. So if we scroll down here, I'm not going to go over all the query parameters or the request headers, but I am going to go down here where this URL is, right? And right here, this is that HTTPS blah 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 user dash. So I don't need that dash. Well, I take that back. I need that dash. I don't have to be explicit and put in the user information in there. And then going down here, this is today. That's the parameter. And then here's the other parameter, which is 1 day. So this is the date, and that's the period. So this is the one we want. I can copy this if I want to, but while we're here, if we go down here and see these responses, it tells you more information on the response that you can get, gives you different information going down here. But we got what we need from this page, so we are going to go back over here to our application, and I am going to put in my quotes and paste that in there. So now I got the information that I need right there to return the data. Now I want to go response, and I want to make a request, and I need to get that, right? So what am I getting? Well, I'm getting the heart URL that we just declared up there, so heart URL. And then I'm going to need the header information, so I'm going to pass in the headers by going headers equals headers. Pretty straightforward. Then down here, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put down heart underscore data equals response.json. Okay. So now that that's done, let's do this. Let's see what that looks like right now. So let's do return, and then we'll do the heart data. Okay. Just to kind of see what that looks like, and I'm going to hit Control S to save it, and then I'm going to go down here and just open this up by the UVICON main : app and then -- reload. And I'm going to run this. And it says, cannot import name Jinja2 templates from FastAPI templates. Interesting. Let me take a look at that real quick and see what that is. Okay, so I see what that error is. If I go back up here, I misspelled templates. So that's TEMPLATES, and I'm going to have to change it down here too. So I didn't spell templates right, so that was the problem all along. So I hit Control S to save, and since I did a reload, it's already started up my server. I can go down back up here and call my local host. And then right there, localhost, remember we're doing our dashboard. So I'm going to go back here and type in dashboard. And it gives me internal server error. Why? Alright, so let's go back to our code here. And where we went wrong is right here, request. It's request with an S. And I'm going to save this. Now it's going to start back up. Now if I go back to my dashboard and I refresh it, go back here, hit dashboard, there it is right there. The reason why I went back before, I wasn't authenticated, so I went back to the authenticate because it redirected, and the redirect just shows the user ID. But now that I'm authenticated, I can do /dashboard. And this brings back my data here, my activities, my heart, which has the custom heart rate, the heart rate zones, the calories out, and all this good information right here. I don't really want to look at it this way, so let's look at another way to kind of figure out how we wanted to look at this data. So let's create a template to use the dashboard HTML. Alright, so let's do this. We'll open up our VS Code back up. We can take out this return heart data because we're not going to use that right now. And instead, we're going to extract the useful information. So if we do summary equals heart data, and then we're going to get, and what are we going to get? Well, let's get the activities. So that's activities, and that's heart, right? Then what we're going to end up doing is let's put that in a dictionary, and let's see, it'll be the first one for keep the lines together. And then we're going to do get value. Then we're going to end up doing the dictionary. Okay, and where's that coming from? So if you remember, we'll go back here. All right, so we have this activities heart, like right here, and we have the the value, which is the customer zone. And this is what we're bringing back when we sit there and say the activities heart with the brackets, and we're bringing back the bracket 0. We're bringing this information back up here. The next thing that we have is the secondary, which is these calories out. So when we say get value and we call it the dictionary, we're getting all these calories out, max and min, and we're getting those on separate lines. And that's pretty much what that piece of code is doing. So if we go back over here to our regular VS Code, we can start coding again. So one of the things that I know that I want to get is I want to get the heart zones, and I just want a summary of it. I don't want the whole thing. So I'm just going to say dot get. And then how do I get the heart rate zones? Well, let's go back to our JSON file. So we go back to our JSON file and we look at it, and we have these custom heart rate zones. And we just want a summary of it. So that's why we use the summary. And we'll go back to our code here, and we'll end up going with the heart rate zones. Heart rate zones. And then we'll bring that back into a list. And then we'll have that done. And that should be pretty much everything that we need right now. So let's do return. And let's test out like the summary. Right, so we're going to test out to see what that summary data looks like. So let me go ahead and hit Control S and save that. And now if I go back to my dashboard and refresh it and did my authentication like we're supposed to, so let's go to the dashboard, and it gives me an internal server error. It does not like something. So let's take a look at what that doesn't like. Okay, so let's go back up here and try to figure this out. And if we go back here, and I got this, I forget what these things are called all the time. We'll just call them a brace. If you know what their official name is, just let me know. So I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to put it in right there to close that out, because I need to call this out as the first one in the array outside my smooth curly thing right there. All right, so let's go back here to run this again, and if things go well, I should go over here, refresh this, and that should do my callback. It does. And then I can go up here and hit my dashboard, and there it is. I got my custom heart rate zones, my heart rate, and all that information looking good. So everything's working the way that I want to. Now, what we're going to end up doing is let's look at these heart zone, which is right here, and just make sure that's working. And basically, you're going to get back the same information. It's just we're going to summarize the heart zones on this. So if I hit Control S and save, let it go, and then kind of come back here, and this is going to look very similar. So let me go ahead and refresh, do my callback, and then I'll go into my dashboard. And like I said, it looks very similar, but it's just called out in a different way. And I removed some of the information up here, and I'm just getting the summary of this section right here. All right, so what's next? Well, let's go back to VS Code. And right here, we don't need this anymore, so we're just going to take that out. And then we'll start back coding. All right, so here, let's start building out our HTML. So let's return, we're going to return our templates. And then we need a template response. And we need a dashboard HTML, because that's what we're going to call. And you remember we created that earlier. Now I'm going to do a dictionary, and I'm going to make a request, and that's going to be request. Then what are we going to do? We're going to do our heart zones. And then we're going to call it heart zones is what we're going to call. So we have heart zone, and we're going to call our heart zones, comma. Then we have to do our heart data, okay? And then we're going to do the heart data. I think that's what we want. So we're going to bring back our heart zones and our heart data. So that we're going to bring back this heart data and these heart zones. Okay. So now let's go to our dashboard HTML, and let's do some HTML coding. What fun. All right. So since this is an HTML file, let's say it's a doc type HTML. And then we're going to have to do the HTML. Then we have to close HTML. So we'll just bring that down a little bit. Then we're going to have the head. And then we'll bring that down. And inside the head, we're going to have title. And this is our Fitbit heart dashboard. Okay. Then what we want to do is let's go down here, and we're going to do the H2 for like a second header. It's a different size, so we have that in there, and we have let's see, we'll do heart rate zone, right? And actually we'll close that one out. And then we're going to have a list, so we're just going to make this a UL. Then that's going to be a we're going to do the squiggly brackets. Then we're going to do percentage, and then we're going to do a loop. So we're going to do for zone in heart zones. Okay. There we go. And where we're getting that is in the main. We have heart zones right here. So we're just looping through that because remember that was in the dictionary. So let's go here, and now we're going to make a list, and let's do some formatting here. Let's make strong, and then we'll call the zone.name, and we'll close the strong out. We'll do that. Then we're going to have the colons. Then I'm going to space that out. Then I'm going to get the zone that's minute. Then I'm going to see what the max is, right? Okay. Then, just so you can guys see a little bit. Actually, no, it's up here. BPM. So that's going to be my max BPM. Then, we're just going to zone how many minutes we're in that zone. That's going to be minute. And that's going to be minute. And then we're going to make sure it's closed out. Then we'll just have a check here, make sure we end this. So let me go to percentage sign, if I can find it. Okay. And then we're going to end the for loop. Percentage sign. Okay. Then we're going to make sure the list is ended. Okay, so there we are. So that part's done. Okay, so let me explain where this comes. So for zone and heart zones, if we look at our main, we have that heart zone right here. So that's that summary that we're getting. And we're just looping through that data. So now, if I go back to my dashboard, how I had it previously, you see, like, I have calories out, I have max, I have min, I have minutes, and I have name. Okay? Now, if I go back to my HTML code, I'm looping through. I got the zone name, I got the minutes and the max, and I got the zone minutes down here as well. So again, if we go back to our, we have the minutes, we have the min, we have the max, we have the name, and see, the reason why we're looping through it is because it's listed multiple times throughout. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. You just have to kind of know what that is and what you're looking for. All right, so the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to go H3, and then I'm going to do the raw heart data. Okay, so from there, it's a JSON file, so I'm going to use the pre. That way I can have it on a pretty print. And then I do a heart data. And I'm going to make that a JSON file to JSON. And then I'm going to do the indent equals 2 just to make it look a little bit prettier. And then I'm going to close that out. And then, oh, interesting. Forgot to do my body. So this should be wrapped in a body. So I apologize for that. So that should be up there. And I knew I was forgetting something. But anyway, so that's like open body, closed body, and then, put the stuff in between the body that you actually want. And then we have the HTML. All right, so if I go ahead and save this now and make sure this is saved. And now if I turn around and look at my dashboard, I go back here and I can refresh this. And then does my callback. Let's see, dashboard. Got an internal server error. Okay, so let's figure out why. So if I go back to my code, dashboard is not found in templates. Templates response. And let's see, we'll go up here. Oh, it's right here. TEMP. I forgot the L right there. So now if I save that, now I should be able to go back and look at this. Okay. So I have a unexpected bracket. So that's in my dashboard. And it's saying that line 9, first zone in heart zone. First zone and heart zones. Oh, I see what it is. Forgot my percentage sign. Okay, so we'll try this again. What don't you like? It says, go down here to my error code, tag in for else, N4. Okay, so let me go back to my dashboard here, and N4. Oh, I see. Had a space there. So let me save that. Well, what now? It hates me today. It says, oh, indent. I misspelled indent. I-N-D. Okay. Control S, save that. Okay. So now that that's saved, we'll just take my space back out of here, hit Control S, and we'll try this one more time, right? And we'll hit this, and I will do the dashboard, and if all things go well, we should have a dashboard up and running. Alright, so here it is, the heart rate zone, the raw heart. I think this is good. I really do. We have all the information in here, so now you know how to bring in a JSON file from an API in Fitbit. Now you can go through Swagger and you can bring in more information you want. Everyone's use case is going to be a little bit different, but you know how to call this now. You know how to look up the documentation. You know how to do everything to get you started to bring back your data to this point. So you can bring back the heart rate, the raw heart data. You can bring back other things. It's just that whatever you choose, you need to take a look at it and just make sure that it fits your use case. What I'm going to do in the next video, I'm going to create a dashboard that shows you how to visualize this. So after this third video, you should have the tools and the skill sets that you need to go back and visualize everything. Okay? And we'll go ahead and end it there, and I'll talk to you guys next time.